In this tutorial, we're going to talk about one of the first stages to proper braking. It's always common to see riders of all skill levels that need to improve on their braking techniques. Even for pro riders, braking techniques can be one of the major keys in dropping lap times. Our first obvious step is to use both brakes. Our bikes came with two brakes for a reason, but believe it or not, a lot of riders only use one. And I don't mean all the time. Even experienced riders can have certain parts on a track where they miss out on extra speed because they're only using one brake. Let's take a look at a little braking science. Our front brake is 70% of our stopping power, but you can't use it to its full potential without using the back brake with it. You gotta think of the back brake creating a pulling force from the rear and the front brake controlling almost all of your stopping power. If you're one of those riders who only use the front brake, you're really limiting yourself from going any faster. You see, you can only use the front brake by itself so much without the front end washing out or flipping you over the bars, because you're putting too much pressure on the front end. With the right body positioning, the back brake allows you to use the front brake as hard as you want, because it relieves all the pressure going to the front end and it balances the bike out, and in turn allowing you to get on the gas harder beforehand. Check out this experienced rider missing out on his back brake in this section. We caught him only using the front brake. We had him do it again with both brakes, and he had the control and the confidence to hit the section faster. Let's take a look at how we control the brakes. The most braking force we can get out of the rear brake is when the wheel starts to slip or chatter. Any more pressure than that will cause you to brake slide, so you don't want to just stomp on the brake when you use it. We want to get the most braking force we can out of the back brake by controlling the pedal just before the wheel wants to lock. And then you use the front brake to give you the stopping power you need, depending on your speed or the section of the track. You gotta do your hardest braking right when you cut off the gas, and then lighten them up as you enter your corner. That's key in maintaining consistent momentum around the whole track. A lot of riders will do their hardest braking in the turn, and that kills momentum. Now let's take a look at steering. Riders who only use one brake aren't only missing out on braking power, they're missing out on steering. If you use the back brake with the front brake, it allows you to counter steer by pulling the back end to the outside and lining the front end to the inside. You can imagine how helpful it is in setting up for your corners. If you only use one brake, you're going to have to enter your corners with the bike straighter up, and you're going to have less ability to lean while braking. Now that you understand what both brakes will do for you, you have to get the other pieces to the puzzle. You need to learn how to actually use them when you're standing or sitting down, and how to time your braking perfectly to flow around the track with momentum. Lastly, you need to learn the right body positions and movements to actually allow your brakes to work better. Check out the following tutorials to learn more.